Have you ever witnessed something so unexpected, so raw and genuine, that it made your heart ache in the best possible way? This is the story of Mia, a shy young waitress with a hidden gift, and how one small act of kindness changed not only her life, but an entire family's forever. Stay with me until the end, because the moment the billionaire's reaction unfolds, you'll understand why people still talk about that day. Years later, Mia worked at a small seaside cafe, tucked between the cliffs of a quiet town. Every morning, she would put on her faded apron, tuck a loose strand of hair behind her ear, and remind herself to smile, even when no one noticed her. She wasn't the kind to speak much. In fact, her coworkers sometimes teased her for being the ghost girl, because she moved quietly, blending into the background. But there was one thing almost no one knew about Mia: she could sign. Her mother had lost her hearing years ago, and through years of practice, Mia had learned to communicate with her in the silent beauty of sign language. One afternoon, as the golden sun dipped low across the ocean, the cafe buzzed with a strange energy. A black car pulled up, sleek, tinted, and clearly belonging to someone important. Mia peeked out from behind the counter, curiosity flickering in her gentle eyes. The door opened, and in stepped a man whose very presence shifted the air, tall, sharp-suited, with eyes like cold steel. Ethan Voss. The billionaire everyone whispered about. He'd made headlines for building a massive tech empire before turning 35. Yet here he was, sitting at one of Mia's tables, looking utterly detached from the world around him, but he wasn't alone. Next to him was an elderly woman, graceful, warm, but clearly deaf. She smiled at Mia kindly, and when Mia spoke, the woman didn't respond. Ethan leaned in and signed something quick, but clumsy. Mia's heart stilled. He was trying to communicate, but his hands moved stiffly, unsure. His mother signed back, slow and patient, though Mia could see the frustration in both their faces, and then, something inside Mia stirred. Before she could think twice, she gently set down her notepad and began signing fluently, asking Ethan's mother what she'd like to eat. For a moment, the cafe froze. Ethan looked up, startled. His mother's eyes widened, then softened into tears. It was as though, for the first time that day, someone had seen her. Truly seen her. She signed back with a bright, trembling smile. Mia interpreted for Ethan softly, careful not to draw attention. He just stared at her, completely silent. After that, things changed. His mother insisted they return to the cafe every few days. Sometimes, she and Mia would chat quietly in sign, laughing like old friends, while Ethan sat across from them, watching, something unreadable flickering in his expression. Mia learned that his mother, Evelyn, had lost her hearing years ago after an illness. Ethan had tried to learn sign language, but his business consumed him. His guilt was heavy. Mia could feel it in the way he avoided his mother's eyes. One evening, just before closing, Ethan returned alone. He waited until the cafe emptied, then walked to the counter. "You made her happy," he said simply, his voice low but rough with emotion. "I haven't seen my mother smile like that in years." Mia looked down, blushing. "She's wonderful," she murmured. "She is," he agreed. A pause. "Would you teach me?" The request stunned her. For a moment, she thought he might be joking. But there was no arrogance in his tone, only a quiet sincerity that made her chest tighten. And so, after hours, they began meeting at the cafe. Mia would teach him how to shape words with his hands, how to express feelings without sound. Slowly, the man who seemed so unreachable began to soften. He stumbled, laughed awkwardly, even made jokes that made Mia blush and smile. Weeks passed, and something gentle grew between them, unspoken, but deeply felt. Ethan's mother noticed it too. She often signed teasing remarks to Mia when Ethan wasn't looking, and Mia would shake her head, laughing silently. But one day, Ethan stopped coming. His assistant called to cancel lessons. Mia's chest ached, though she told herself it was foolish to feel disappointed. She didn't see him for weeks, until one morning, Evelyn came in alone, her face pale and hands trembling. She signed that Ethan had been in a terrible accident, his car had been struck on the highway. He was alive, but in the hospital, unconscious. Mia's world tilted. Without thinking, she rushed to the hospital. When she entered his room, the sight broke her heart. Tubes, machines, silence. Evelyn sat beside him, holding his hand and weeping quietly. Mia stood at the foot of the bed, signing softly, words of encouragement, comfort, prayer. For days, she visited, always signing messages to him even though he couldn't see. She told him about the cafe, his mother's laughter, the sunsets he'd missed. Nurses whispered about the shy waitress who never gave up. And then, one morning, as she signed another message, "Please come back to us," his fingers twitched. Evelyn gasped. Mia froze. Slowly, Ethan's eyelids fluttered open. He looked at Mia, dazed. She smiled through tears, signing slowly, "You're safe. You're here." His lips trembled into the smallest smile. Then, with shaky hands, he signed back, clumsy, imperfect, but heartfelt, "Thank you." Weeks later, when Ethan recovered, he did something no one expected. He returned to the cafe with his mother, and before everyone, he stood up and spoke, not with words, but with his hands. His signing wasn't perfect, but his emotion made everyone silent. He thanked Mia for giving him and his mother the gift of connection. For reminding him that the world's truest wealth wasn't measured in money, but in the moments that spoke without sound. Then, in front of everyone, he signed something directly to her, "You taught me love." Tears fell freely across the cafe. Evelyn stood, embracing Mia tightly as the entire room clapped through silent applause. The way the deaf expressed joy, Mia never imagined her quiet gift could change a billionaire's heart. But in that small seaside cafe, she realized something profound, that the simplest kindness, offered without expectation, can ripple through the world in ways you can't possibly predict. And as the sun set behind the waves, Ethan looked at her with a softness that said everything words never could. Sometimes, the most powerful love stories are written in silence.